Hey there, welcome back to Reddit Dating, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video. Fiancé female 31 said her ex is the love of her life. So I'm in a bit of a daze right now, to be honest. My fiancé of 31 and I am 33, got engaged in October last year and have been in a relationship for 5 years now. Everything has been great, and I can honestly say that I've never met anyone who comes close to her. She's been the love of my life for sure. I've known her most of my life. We grew up on the same street just round the corner from each other. Her mom and dad still stay in the same house, and I still stay in the same house I grew up in, which my mom left to me when she passed away in 2014. We still don't officially live together yet, but for all intents and purposes she lives here. Her parents and her are really close though, and she still has her bedroom there and will occasionally spend the night there, but she's never away from here. Anyway, this morning, I decided to go take a walk down to the shops to buy some things, and as I was about halfway down 15-minute walk, I realized I had forgotten my face mask. Masks are mandatory here in shops since 10th of July, so I had to walk back and get mine. When I walked in the door to grab the mask from the kitchen table, I heard her speaking to someone loudly on the phone in the living room, and she said, "Yeah, but David will always be the love of my life." David is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know a great deal about him, but I know they were in a relationship for 2 years, and it ended a year before we started dating. He also dumped her. I just grabbed my mask and walked back out, and just as I got to the shops I felt weird, and I had to sit down as my mind was going in 1,000 different directions. I eventually got back home and immediately told her I feel sick and sent her back round to her parents' house, as I did warn her about as I was ill. I'm now lying in my bed wondering what to do, to be honest. I know she didn't do anything wrong. It's not like she cheated on me or intentionally went out of her way to hurt me. But what's heard can't be unheard. She basically said that the person who she's agreed to marry isn't a patch on an ex she's not been with for 6 years. The fact she said he will always be the love of her life also means that it's a void game. Her heart's already been taken, and there's nothing I could ever do to change that. Also, what would happen if he did come back into her life? You can't turn down the love of your life when they come calling, and I'd be dumped quicker than yesterday's leftovers. So what do I do? Tell her I was earwitting on her and heard her say that just end the relationship for a completely vague reason like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," etc. Swallow my pride and pretend I didn't hear it. Everything has been wonderful, but there's no way on this earth I want to be someone's second choice, especially when her ex is the one on her mind that she obviously would be with if she could. I'm thinking about just saying it's not working between us. She's texting me about coming round tonight and mothering and spoiling me 'cause I'm the sickie. Story 2. I caught her cheating and got revenge on Valentine's Day. Basically, I asked Reddit to help me think of a way to get justice while dumping my girlfriend. I never expected the huge response I got, and I sincerely thank everyone for responding. I read every single comment. Almost everything I did was a suggestion I got from you all. The top suggestion was to just walk away, rise above everything, forget about revenge, and suddenly disappear from her life forever. I thought about this seriously for a long time, but finally decided to listen to the only part that matters in that plan, having it be over and then never seeing or talking to her again. Disappearing would mean her trying to contact me for days, and I wanted it to just be over and see the look on her face. Believe it or not, but guys need closure too. Here's what happened as best as I can remember. I decided that Valentine's Day was the perfect day to go through with it, but since I'd caught her cheating last week, I hadn't thought to get reservations anywhere. Thanks to a fellow Redditor, I managed to get a spot for us at a really nice restaurant by the lake. I live in Austin. I told my girlfriend that I'd come over to her apartment before we went out and make some drinks while she got ready. I had already packed all of her stuff from my own apartment, including the expensive face cream she keeps, and yeah, I jerked off into it so she'll be wearing my facial every day for months. It was an idea inspired by one of the comments here. I put all of her in a travel bag and drove over to her apartment. I left the bag in the car and went in. She busted out some glasses and bottles of liquor for me to make drinks and then got in the shower. While she was in there, I grabbed the bag from my car and put it in her closet. I also hid a 3-pack of condoms in the bag, but only left 2 rubbers in it. She'll probably find them. Think I left them accidentally and always wonder if I cheated on her. We lost our virginity to each other and never used condoms. She was still in the shower during this time, and I grabbed her cell phone and deleted myself from it. I also looked up Theo in her contacts and changed his phone number to mine for later. After that, I made her a vodka, Sprite, and spit in it a few times. I had a big shot of vodka and waited for her, and when she was dressed, we had our drinks. I hate to admit it, but she looked really good, so I talked her into giving me some oral as a warm-up for tonight. A lot of the comments told me I should tap it one last time, and I agreed. I made her gag accidentally a few times right in the same spot I'd seen her blowing the other guy. When I was done, I told her that my car was acting funny, so we should take hers instead. I drove us to the restaurant. This was the part of the date that was supposed to be perfect. We had dinner and wine, and I went out of my way to make everything seem normal, giving her the perfect Valentine's dinner. We talked about vacations we'd taken together and how we'd like to go back. I brought up old memories and made her laugh. I asked her where she wanted to be in 5 years, and she said hopefully married by then. It was hard at times, but I was already committed to finishing it. We were done eating, so I excused myself to the bathroom to wash my hands. From there, I made a call to my best friend and told him to pick me up in half an hour. That's all the time I was ever going to give the Heartless again. I came out of the bathroom and paid the bill, give me some credit for being a gentleman still, and suggested we take a walk along the lake. Thanks again to the Redditor, because this turned out to be perfect. There was a little dock nearby and we stood on it, and my hands were shaking, but I finally called her out. I asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell me. She looked confused and played it off very well. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I probably would have believed her. I let her lie to me and then told her that I knew about Theo, that she'd accidentally called me and I'd caught them around. I told her I'd found him on Facebook and seen his bragging updates. While I was telling her this, she started bawling, and I've got to admit that I was crying a little too. But I kept going and told her how much she'd hurt me, and that I'd been throwing up all week and sick about it. The only thing she kept saying was that she was sorry. The rest of the time she was crying and almost hyperventilating. She would try to interrupt, but I kept telling her to let me finish. I wasn't too sure if I was going to do this part of the plan, but I had nothing else to lose, so I said it. I told her that I honestly believed she was the girl I was going to spend the rest of my life with, which was true, and pulled out a jewelry ring box from my coat. I'd gotten it the day, sick about it. The only thing she kept saying was that she was sorry. The rest of the time she was crying and almost hyperventilating. She would try to interrupt, but I kept telling her to let me finish. I wasn't too sure if I was going to do this part of the plan, but I had nothing else to lose, so I said it. I told her that I honestly believed she was the girl I was going to spend the rest of my life with, which was true, and pulled out a jewelry ring box from my coat. I'd gotten it the day, sick about it. The only thing she kept saying was that she was sorry. The rest of the time she was crying and almost hyperventilating. She would try to interrupt, but I kept telling her to let me finish. I wasn't too sure if I was going to do this part of the plan, but I had nothing else.
Care of John when he immediately fell ill at work. I will never forget the look on his face as I brought him some tomato soup with toast and some juice to drink. I will never forget the times when John would sometimes tell me while we were showering together that there are some things in my past that I've done. Or when I would always give him a back massage, he'd ask me, "Why are you so good to me?" And I would always reply, "Well, because I love you." And I'd kiss his back or neck after saying that. The following Tuesday, I moved back in with my mother and took all